Right, so hello everyone, it's the Cricket Connoisseur here and welcome to episode 4 of the TCC Talks podcast. Now today I'm joined by Kavem Hodge of the Windward Islands Volcanoes, West Indies A and the St Lucia Zouks in the Caribbean Premier League to discuss his early cricketing memories, his cricket journey up until this point, and then later on in the podcast we'll also touch upon his future ambitions in the game of cricket. So first things first, Kavem, how's your day been so far, mate?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Obviously, we could only do so much with the coronavirus around. But thankfully, all our cases have been relieved. Most of the individuals have been cured. So it's just a matter of being cautious in moving around day to day. But I'm thankful for, the progress we've made so far.
Well, that's good news. I mean, hopefully, obviously, world's dealing with the pandemic at the moment. We remain hopeful, obviously, that we'll be relieved of it at some point, but obviously, it's still a major factor at the moment. So I think the best place to start this podcast, really, Kavem, is with the really early memories of cricket. So what's your first ever memory either of playing or watching cricket?
For me, the first ever memory of playing, I think, is on the beach. I grew up close to the beach, so that's where everything started. I used to spend almost the entire day on the beach, actually. Home never used to see me about 6 o'clock in the evening. But yeah, that's basically where I started, playing with the older guys, just enjoying the time outside and just playing as much as I can. So I think that really set the foundation for me for, enjoying the game of cricket. And I think that the fact that I got to, play with guys much older than me, it really brought out that competitive edge and spirit in me. So I think it helped me along, further in my career.
Yeah, I mean, for those listening to the podcast who don't know, Kavem is from the beautiful island of Dominica. And that kind of brings me on nicely onto my next point, actually, Kavem. You mentioned beach cricket. What is the cricket culture like on the island of Dominica?
It's really good. It's really competitive. I think to put it in perspective, Dominica, we've reached, when Stanford T20 was around, Dominica has reached the semi-final of that. And as you know, back then, that was a really big competition. Everybody was in it. So we're very competitive as a country. We're not that big. In terms of the capacity, but we're very competitive and we take it very serious. All the international guys who come here and play could attest that the stadium is always packed, the vibe is always good, and it's just a great place to represent on a whole.
Yeah, I mean, talking of the stadium, Windsor Park, I believe that was meant to be hosting an international game this year.
Yeah, actually, it was supposed to host New Zealand and the West Indies, but unfortunately, with the pandemic, it had to be pushed back.
Yeah, lovely ground though, Windsor Park really is. Got was it Hurricane Maria in 2017? I think that's what caused some damage to it. But yeah, that is a great place to play cricket.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've never been there, but yeah, beautiful looking ground. Yep. So almost moving into talking about stadiums now, I suppose, Kavem. What's your favourite stadium? I mean, Windsor Park is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but are there any other ones in the Caribbean or around the world that you love?
In terms of the world, I would say Adelaide Oval is my favorite ground. I was fortunate to be a part of the Darren Lima Cricket Academy back in 2010. So in that group, it was Joe Root, Scott Borthwick, Liam Norwell, Jack Taylor. It was a brilliant group. We were a bit of troublemakers, but the coaches didn't mind, So I was fortunate to play the district cricket final. I was playing for the Sturt Cricket Club. In that tournament, the T20 tournament. So I was fortunate enough to play in a final at the Adelaide Oval, and it's an amazing ground. I also had the opportunity to watch the 2010 Ashes. I think that's where Kevin Peterson scored the double 100.
Yes, so, it was at the Oval. Yeah, the Adelaide Oval. Wow.
I had the opportunity to watch that live. It was amazing, and it's still my favorite ground up to this day.
Incredible. That was an incredible knock. It really was, and a great series for England.
I actually turned up at the ground early because I think he was batting overnight, Kevin Peterson, and he was at the ground early, knocking up, and he was hitting the ball so terribly hard. I was like, he's mad at somebody, and obviously, he wanted to get a double, but it was a really great experience.
Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, you'll make a lot of England fans watching this very jealous. I mean, that's a wonderful series. It really was. I mean, talking to Kevin, obviously back then you weren't an old cricketer, you were pretty much just making your way into the game. Who was your biggest influence in your early cricket career? Was it teammate, coaches, players that you looked up to, for example?
I would think it's players that I look up to. I was a big fan of Ramna Rasawan growing up. And then, moving on, growing up, I think Sachin Tendulkar was at the pinnacle of my interest, not just because of, the runs that he scored, but I think how humble he was. He was always a student of the game. And even to this day, he's not playing, but he still is. His work ethic, the respect, that he had for others and that others had for him. So I think, I always try my best to model my behavior and my attributes of that. It would be nice to get at least half as the amount of runs that he achieved. But yeah, I think, Sachin really paved the way in terms of my attitude towards the game, my preparation.
And it's a great choice. I mean, Tendulkar, many people would argue he's the greatest, especially if you're an India fan. But
also, he's as short as I am, so yeah, I'm in the right spot.
Fair play. Wonderful batsman, though. Absolutely beautifully, wonderfully gifted batsman, and not a bad inspirational role models at all, Kavem. You also mentioned Ramnaresh Sarwan. What was it about Sarwan that really made you look up to him as an idol?
I think it was probably his consistency. Also, he had that Caribbean flair about him. He wasn't the traditional batsman that allowed things to be dictated to him. He always took the game. As you would recall, he always had something with and against the Australian teams.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's one of the players that he always tried to impose himself, and he was silky. He was classical. He was always a pleasure to watch. So that's one of the reasons why I was always a big fan of him.
Yeah, another great choice. What about Brian Lara? What about him?
Definitely, that's a no-brainer. Brian will always be Brian. He's the guy that everybody wants to be. But he is amazing. I had the opportunity to speak with him a couple of times. But he's an amazing guy. Obviously, the runs that he has, is something that people always dream of. But obviously, if he could do it, someone else can do it. It won't be easy, but he's basically the role model for everybody in the Caribbean and the world to a larger extent. So.
Well, yeah, you talk about the runs, 400 not out against England. I think that's something that a lot of people look at. Still the record. Warner got close to that though in the Australian summer. He got 335 not out, but it's going to be one heck of a record to break that.
Yeah, he's David is someone that I'm also pretty close with. Obviously, he was part of the St. Lucia Zooks setup. He's an amazing guy. We spend a lot of time together, even to this day. We always converse. I always try and pick his brain and ask him, what's going through his mind. And, he always tell me, look, if he's having that amount of test matches, this is the amount of centuries he's looking to get, the average that he's trying to finish with. Even when he was on the ban, he was part of the St. Lucia Zooks team during the CPL. And, we would have conversations about, what was going through his mind during that time away from cricket. And I could tell that, he was really eager to get back, and he knew, what he had to do and who he had to play against. Obviously, he wasn't too keen on playing against India on his way back on his first test back. But he knew, how much test matches he had left to reach 100 test matches. And, he had everything calculated. It wasn't just by mistake. He had everything calculated, and, he was just, so focused and driven in everything that he does. So he's an amazing guy, really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously known worldwide for his brilliant batting, really, for both Australia in the IPL as well, for Sunrisers. I mean, talking to David, he is a massive name, and that kind of brings me on nicely to my next question, really, Kavem.
Right.
Have you ever been left starstruck by teammates? You've had some great teammates over the years, especially in the CPL. Have you ever walked into a dressing room and been like, wow, it's so-and-so?
Yeah, I have. Obviously, being in a dressing room with Darren Sammy, who's been, one of the leaders. I think he's a leader in West Indies cricket. And obviously winning 2 World Cups, just being in his presence, just to see how he goes about doing everything. It's really amazing. But as much as starstruck as I get, I'd have to pinch myself and say, all right, you're here to do a job, if they can do it, you can do it, so just, get on board and, keep pushing yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I mentioned Darren Sammy as well beforehand. The man's got a cricket stadium named after him. I mean, incredible.
Yep. Yeah, I think that attests to the individual he is. He's not just a captain. He's a leader. He inspires people. How he talks, how he acts. By his actions. So, everybody is just drawn to him, and he's a really great person.
Yeah, definitely. He comes across like that as well. One thing I will say about Darren Sammy, very, very strange batting technique. Massive long levers. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He tends to be awkward at times, but very effective.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as you mentioned beforehand, was a massive integral part of West Indies World Cup, T20 World Cup wins.
No, definitely.
100%. Well, obviously, Kavem, we've just been talking about the CPL and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also in the West Indies domestic circuit, who is the toughest bowler that you've ever faced? There can be international, there can be West Indian. Who would you say is the toughest?
I would probably say to this point, it'll probably have been Jerome Taylor.
Ooh, interesting choice.
He's very skillful, especially with new ball, as well as the old ball. But when the second new ball comes along, you have to be on your A game because he's very deceptive. Obviously, he has the experience, he has the skill, and he has the know-how, and he knows how to work with batsmen. So it's always a challenge. And obviously, as someone who is aspiring to play international cricket, that's a challenge that you want. You understand? Because these are the level of bowlers you're going to face at the higher level. So, this is something that you look forward to and cherish. But yeah, he's probably one of the most challenging bowlers I've faced to this day.
100%. I mean, as you said, the experience, he's a very wily and skilled bowler, 100%. Like, he might not be the quickest, he's not express pace, but my God, the man knows how to swing a ball, doesn't he?
Definitely. He's very skillful, so he's an amazing person.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely agree with that. You've just touched upon you want your goals for international cricket there, Kavem.
Right.
If you could pick a format, which one would you go for? Would it be Test, ODI, or T20 international?
Oh, Test every day.
Good choice.
I love the challenge. Obviously, I think that's, and all the international guys would attest to that. I think that's where you make a name for yourself at Test cricket because it's not easy. It speaks for itself. It's a test of character, physical fitness, mental fitness, technique, and everything. And if you look at all the good T20 and 50 over players, they're brilliant international Test players. The Kane Williamsons, the Virat Kohlis, all these guys. They dominate Test cricket. So T20 cricket, obviously Chris Gayle, he has three triple centuries in Test cricket. So T20 is a breeze for this guy. So, once you can master that longer version, then everything else will just fall into place.
I absolutely love that attitude, by the way, because I was chatting with some West Indies fans the other day. Obviously, at the moment, really, really strong T20 side. The Test side has waned, unfortunately, compared to like the 80s and 90s, but that's cyclical. It's the sport, isn't it, really? That does make me happy, though. It really does. Hearing Test cricket as the pinnacle.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, that actually kind of brings me on to what I was going to say almost at the start, really. Your first class record is fantastic, by the way. I was watching, what was it, the Guyana Jaguars game when was that, February? Got 100 not out. It was a draw in the end, but I mean, brilliant innings, by the way. Brilliant innings.
Yeah.
Alongside Devon Smith.
Yeah, I think for me, one of my major goals is always performing against some of the stronger teams. And obviously, Guyana Jaguars, they've been dominating first-class cricket for a very long time. I was fortunate enough to get 100 against them as well in the Super 50 tournament. So I think it's just a matter of me, carrying on. I think that instilled a sense of belief in myself. So, and I really prepared well for that occasion. So I was just glad that I was able to get over the line against that team, especially. I would have liked to got a couple more centuries, but obviously that wasn't the case. An injury at the back end of the season with a dislocated finger didn't help as much. But with that being said, it was a knock that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was a great knock. As I said, it really was a good knock. A good celebration as well, I must say. You almost ran into the bowler.
Yeah, I think it attested to how badly I wanted it and how hard I worked for it. Not only on the day of the game, but leading up to that game. Obviously, I got about 3 or 4 half centuries leading up to that game, and I told myself, right, I can't keep going along that road. I need to keep pushing and carrying on. So it was tough. I knew that I had to bat a very long time because you have a lot of consistent bowlers. They don't give you much, so I knew that I had to settle that long and take example from Devon Smith, who has a billion first class runs. So.
Yeah, he's a great teammate. Really is. He's one of the premier players on the Windward Islands Volcanoes, definitely. I mean, we focused a lot on your batting here, Kavem. I haven't really touched upon your bowling. I mean, you're a wonderful bowler as well, very economical. I believe you were the most economical bowler in this year's West Indies Championship for the Windward Islands. What do you prefer, batting or bowling?
I'm a batsman. I don't think I the approach to my bowling that I do to my batting. I work really hard at hitting the nets. I'm not much of a big spinner of the ball, but what I focus on a lot is trying to work out the batsman and play on his technique a bit and use variations as much as possible. So and also, my role in the team is majorly a holding role. So I know once I do that role well, the wickets will come. So I just try and do that as much as possible, keep it simple, and hope for the best.
I mean, right, something strange about your bowling and your batting, which many people may not know. You bowl left-handed and bat right-handed. Where did that come from?
I'm ambidextrous. I have no idea. It just happened that way. Like I said, ever since I've started, that's just how it's ever been. So sometimes I've tried to do a bit of feeling with my right hand to see if I can get it done. It didn't turn out too well. But it's something that I enjoy, it just keeps me engaged all the time. So I don't mind at all.
But yeah, it makes for a good watch as well. Very straight. It's almost like a reverse Jimmy Anderson. Jimmy bowls right and bats left.
That's right. And like a Michael Clark. I'm a big fan of Michael Clark as well. Pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, great batsman as well, Michael Clark. Very, very, very silky batsman. Pretty good leader as well. Yeah. I mean, well, Michael Clark actually brings me on because he's an Australian. Now, in 2012, you appeared for the West Indies in the Under-19 World Cup, didn't you, in Queensland? Yep. How was that experience like? You played alongside some players who are in the team right now. Sunil Ambrish, John Campbell was in there, Craig Brathwaite was in there as well.
It was really an amazing feeling, especially to go back to Australia and take part in that tournament. Obviously, it's the breeding ground for a lot of international players. Well, it was a real honor to get to represent the West Indies on that level. But I think it's just a matter of keep pushing on from there, learn from that experience. Obviously, it was a while back, so. I guess the next aim is to, represent the senior team. So you just got to keep working towards that.
100%, yes. I mean, you mentioned that quite a few times now, Kavem. When do you realistically think that you can make the West Indies team?
I think it's just a matter of when I'm able to, not when I'm able to, but, once I get in the position to put my name in the hat, I think it is a position of me standing out when it comes to regional cricket, first-class cricket. Obviously, you're going to be playing international cricket. You don't want to be just another player. You want to stand out. And obviously, that's what the selectors want to see. They want to see, hey, this guy is standing out. He can make a difference. So every day, no matter what I do, training, physically, mentally, I always try and push myself. And I know deep down that I have to set myself a high standard, so when my name is in the hat, it's right there for everybody to see. So I think it's just a matter of making the most of the opportunities when it come along in terms of first-class cricket, and then also making the most of the opportunity when I'm speaking it into being, when I get the test call up. So yeah.
That's confidence right there. I mean, definitely. Yeah. I mean, as I said, if you carry on this upward trajectory, I mean, over the past couple of years, definitely, it's been pronounced growth. You could definitely make your debut soon. If so, what position in the batting order would you like? I know that you can't really choose when you're a newbie, but
I can't choose obviously as high as possible. Because I really enjoy being at the top of the order in terms of 3 or 4. I think that's where I have played most of my cricket locally and first class cricket. It's like my frame of mind, has always been centered around that, consolidating, setting the tone for the rest of the innings. I always enjoy the challenge of facing the new ball. And most of my practices always get around that, high intensity. It's something that I really enjoy. And it also gives me the opportunity to, go through the innings. So that's something that, I would really look forward to. So like I said, it's just a matter of performing at that position during first class levels. So obviously, once you get to that level at the top, then, it'll be a smooth transition.
Yeah. Yeah, practice. Keep on growing.
Yeah.
So you've just said number 4. Okay. Right. Obviously, let's put the West Indies debut aside, okay? Because obviously you've already played for them in 2012 in the Under-19 World Cup. What do you say, other than that call-up, has been your proudest moment of your career so far?
I think probably being selected for the West Indies, the A team.
Yeah.
We played against India when they were here in the Caribbean. And what happened is one of the batsmen, the opening batsman, he got injured. I think that was John Campbell, and he wasn't able to open. So I was asked, "Are you able to open?" I was like, "Yep, let me go." So I opened the bat, and I ended up scoring 56. But for me, it was a big stepping stone in terms of the belief it installed in myself. Because obviously, opening the batting against Bumrah, Shami, Saini, and batting Jadeja and all these guys, and getting a score, that was a big boost for me, and it really proved to me that, hey, I have what it takes to be at the next level. So it's just a matter of me building on that. So I think that was one of the proudest moments for me, obviously being one of the closest steps to playing international cricket.
Yep, and it is the first step. Realistically, you get some performances with the A team, put you in good stead, 100%. So on the flip side of that, we've just discussed the proudest moment, Kavem. What's been the toughest moment of your career so far?
I would think it's probably injury. I think when I just started university, I sustained a torn ligament in my knee. I was out. Well, initially I was told I'd be out for 4 to 6 months, but that wasn't the case. I was just out for like 1 or 2, and I recovered really quickly. Fortunately, I didn't have to do any surgery, so I'm over that now. And yeah, I think that was one of the toughest part of my career thus far, because I had to be patient and I had to take everything day by day and trust the process. So, but I came out obviously a better person, understanding what it takes and stuff like that. So yeah,
100%. I mean, you get that with a lot of sportsmen. It's almost that grounding factor, isn't it? And then you come back stronger. 100%.
That's right.
What about on the field, though? What's your hardest on the field moment?
There's been a lot. There's been a lot. The hardest. I'm not sure. Like I said, there's been a lot. It's difficult to pinpoint one. Every blunder seems like the biggest one. So I think probably dropping catches, especially in first class cricket, it's pretty tough, especially when you're playing against a good opponent. You drop catches and then you're gonna be like, every run they get after that, it's like a needle in your back. So yeah, I think there's not really no toughest moment. All of them are really crucial, so but just a matter of how you bounce back from them.
Now, you've just mentioned that. I was going to ask that. How do you personally bounce back from them? Because obviously you can get disappointed during matches. Right. How do you bounce back from that?
I think I wallow in a little bit of self-pity for a couple of minutes. But obviously, I think for me, it's just a matter of, finding that quiet spot and telling myself, all right, look, you can either do 2 things. You could wallow in self-pity for the rest of the time or find a way to, bounce back from this and get on the treadmill again. For me, my main thing is finding a way. Nobody can do it for you as much as the coaches help you in the dressing room, in the nets during practice. When you get out there, it's all you. So for me, it's always about finding a way. How am I going to find a way? And, it has fared well for me up until this point. So, it's just a matter of keeping on that trend.
Yeah. Very, very good advice.
Yeah.
Very good advice, actually. Yeah. You just got to get it out your mind, haven't you? And obviously, cricket's a massive sport psychologically as well as physically.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you actually deal with the psychological pressures as well? Because obviously, when you go out to bat, let's say the Volcanoes are 10 for 2, and you're chasing 200 plus runs. How do you personally go about setting about your innings?
For me, I think the biggest challenge for me was getting over this mental barrier. I've been doing a lot of work with a psychologist. I don't know if you know by the name of Dr. Rudy Webster.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he's worked with most of the IPL teams. He was managing the West, stuff like that. So he's someone that I did a lot of work with previous to this previously the Super 50 and leading up to the 40. So we've done a lot of work of mental and preparation, how to try and stay in the zone, taking mental breaks. So for me, I've always, I think just before the Super 50, I developed a routine, when I enter the wicket, when I'm getting ready to face the ball between balls, what am I thinking of? What am I looking at? Just taking my mind off the game and focusing on something else, and just to give myself those mental breaks, focusing on cues, little distractions in the stadium, and then getting ready again when the bowler is ready to come back to bowl. So I think that has helped me a lot. And it showed, in the couple innings that I play, especially against Guyana and a couple other teams. So I think that's, for me, it was a big step in the right direction. Dealing with these simple little things, they made a big difference for me. So that's one of the ways that I deal with the mental aspect of my game.
So it sounds like a very good coping strategy, to be fair. What about mental breaks outside of the game? So obviously cricket isn't 24/7. What do you do to take some time off away from the game?
I like to go to the movies. I read a lot. For the past couple of years, I've been doing a lot of reading. During this pandemic, in the last 4 months, I've read about 5 books, going on number 6. Also taken up, a couple other little skills, the online trading and stuff like that. Just to keep my mind clear, and obviously, along with exercising, which is something that I do a lot, just to stay fit. So, yeah, it's just finding simple ways to, stay fit mentally and physically, and just keep proving myself as a person. Definitely.
That's good advice for any young cricketers out there as well. Yep. Don't just improve yourself as a cricketer, improve yourself as a person.
Right.
Because there is a life after cricket. It's as simple as that.
Yep, definitely.
So actually talking about that, Kavem, obviously once your career does come to an end, what are you thinking of going into?
Obviously, I would still want to be a part of the game, lending a hand wherever I can, obviously, coaching, management, analysis, physiotherapy, it's just a matter of, giving back, any way that I can give back, just the same way, others have given on to me when I was growing up, it would be fulfilling.
If you could choose one, though, what would it be? Would you be a coach, an analyst, a commentator?
Or a physio.
A physio?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Why?
I don't know. I think playing the sport and going through certain things, I've come to understand a lot about my body, and I have a lot of majority of the teams that I've played with. I find myself bonding really well with the physios. Obviously, I like to learn about my body, how I can get better, how I can get stronger, and it's just something that I'm really interested in. Even some of my friends who don't play sport and something happened, and I would offer advice, and sometimes it tends to work well. So, it's a really interesting area, and it benefit. It's just a matter of me, helping people. So, yeah.
Do you think your own experiences with injury have kind of also shaped that?
Yeah, definitely. Because even to this, I have a couple of friends who are going through the same injury. So it's just a matter of me, lending a helping hand, giving advice, words of wisdom, and just being there for them. So, yeah.
That's nice. I mean, physio, obviously an integral role in any team. I mean, you've got to keep your team fit. Simple as that. 100%. So we're coming almost to the end now, Kavem. What advice would you give to any young cricketers out there around the world, really, as to how they can improve their game or how they can get into the game of cricket in the first place? What advice would you give to anyone just starting out in the game of cricket?
I think the most important thing is to believe. No matter how much you practice, no matter how much you look at the videos, no matter what you do, if you don't believe, then you won't be able to achieve it. So I think first you have to conceive everything in your mind. Just believe that you can do it. Just believe it. That's the most important thing, and then from there, everything else will fall into place. Yeah,
that's really nice advice. Also, one that I know this is a bit cliche, but you got to have fun. Simple as that. Because obviously, we've just been mentioning cricket does take a mental and a physical toll on you. You just got to find that way to make it fun.
Simple as that. I think that's really important. Once you enjoy the game, the tough times won't be so tough. You'll find the light moments in between. So I think that's really important as well.
100%. So yeah, any young cricketers out there, believe in yourself. Massively important, and also remember to have fun. Okay, simple as that. Cricket's a game at the end of the day. There's a lot more serious things going on, as we all know at the moment with the pandemic going on.
That's right.
But Kavem, that pretty much wraps up episode 4 of the TCC Talks podcast. You've been an absolute pleasure. It's been amazing, Kavem. You've been a really, really good guest. Do you have anything to plug, any social media that you want people to follow?
In terms of?
Instagram.
It's Island _Boy Wonder. You could follow me, obviously. We're looking forward to the CPL. Hopefully I can bridge that gap. One of the things that I'm looking to do is, if the CPL comes along, I'll be looking to actually, try and do some interviews with some of the guys. Because one of the things that I realized, not everybody has the opportunity to share the dressing room with, amazing guys like Chris Gale, Sammy, Obed, Colin Monroe, Keswick Williams. So that's one of the things that I'm thinking about, making a little video now and then, just asking questions and then put it on Instagram, find out what questions that the public would like to ask players, and then, hopefully it can be done, and I'm looking forward to it. So,
yeah. You should be able to. I mean, I completely forgot to mention that, actually. Yeah, Chris Gale, he signed with the Zooks now, hasn't he, from the Talawars?
Yeah.
Had a bit of a falling out with Sarwan. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be an amazing dressing room next year. As you mentioned, Keswick, another very, very wily bowler. And Obed McCoy, one of the most young, exciting prospects in West Indian cricket. Yeah, any Zooks fans out there, it should be a good season.
That's right.
100%. So yeah, that's pretty much it from us for today's podcast, guys. Thank you as always for listening. It really is appreciated. If you want to give this video a like and a subscribe, please feel free to do that as well. But anyways, that is it from us, guys. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.